Listen up, hockey fans. You're in the right place. A no-hold-barred debate between two hockey fans. Stay up to date on current issues in the NHL, even the controversial ones. Welcome to The Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Burud.
It is time for The Debate Hockey Podcast, episode 112, as we continue to roll through the Stanley Cup Playoffs in August. Yeah, it's August 31st. That sounds totally goofy to say. This is a time of year, Blake, where I'm usually, like, you go outside and the air's a little crisp. It's like, all right, we got fall around the corner, and that means camp's open and we get hockey pretty soon. This is like when I'm going to my mailbox waiting for my Hockey News yearbook to show up. It's all different this year.
Yeah, no, and it's usually around the time where we do our predictions, right?
That'd be about that. Well, we'd be. You know what we'd be doing, Blake? You know what we'd be doing? We'd be starting We'd be starting the next season of the show. Is what we'd be doing. We'd be coming off the summer episodes and firing up another season of the debate. So, we're just kind of extending last year right now, and then as soon as the madness is done and right before the draft, we will start. What is it? Season 4?
Season 4.
Wow.
Yeah. 112 episodes. It's pretty crazy.
That's good. We've had that's a lot of hours of talking hockey, isn't it? That's some good disagreements and good fights, huh?
It's funny how, like, when you look back at our first episode, it was literally like 15 minutes long, and we were just
30.
awkward as shit.
It was 30.
But like now we can talk for like 3 hours.
Well, we were so damn proud of that. 30. It was like 28 minutes. We were so proud of that. We're like, holy shit! Like, wow. And now when I look how we do, it's like so different now. It's like, it's so different. But it helps when you get better equipment.
When you chirp each other back and forth every day, it just translates to the podcast.
I know. Blake, can I you know what? Before we can go on here in the intro, I got a confession. Last night I texted Blake when it was 3-2, and I'm not going to rip on you here. This is funny. I texted Blake and it was 3-2, and the Canucks were up, and it was a pretty darn good game. And I actually thought Vancouver was kind of holding Vegas at bay, and things were good. And you text me back. I said, well, I'm going to go to bed. I got to work early. And you said, well, geez, this is the most important period of the year for the Canucks. And I said, I know. But after the stuff you were talking earlier, I'm like, man, the hockey gods are going to get you. And I said, well, I'm going to go to bed. Well, I'll be honest with you. I didn't go to bed. I watched.
I knew you didn't go to bed. You were full of shit when you said that. I knew you didn't go to bed.
I stayed up and watched it.
I'm thinking, this motherfucker did not go to bed. I'm like, this is too good of a hockey game. This guy did not go to bed. I was about to call you and just like, if a chance you were sleeping, I'd wake your ass up.
I'll tell you what, it took every bit of, I don't even know what word I'm looking for, to not text you last night. Because, like, they score and it's 3-3, and I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, and I thought I think it was the third goal. Markstrom was pissed at himself. I think it was the third. Yeah, it was a tying goal at Markstrom. He thought he should have had it. And I don't know. I mean, maybe. I'm not blaming anything on Markstrom. Then fourth goal came in. I'm like, oh, Blake's got to be shitting his pants right now. And then I knew it was done. Like, I freaking knew it was done. Didn't you? Like, I knew as soon as Vegas took the lead, your goose is cooked.
Yeah. Well, are we talking about this series right now? Or are we going to get into it later?
No, I just wanted to I just wanted to come. You know what? I just wanted to come clean. I wanted to come clean and tell you that I actually did watch it. But you should be proud of me that I didn't chirp you last night. I didn't. And you know why I didn't?
Well, you can't. Your team's out of the playoffs.
No, I still could. But here's why.
Well, here's the thing. Here's my theory. Anybody that chirps me about the Vancouver Canucks are literally morons. Because one, they're one of the youngest team in the playoffs. 2, nobody picked them to even beat St. Louis. You picked them to lose to Minnesota. And 3, they're playing with house money.
No, I know. I'm not discounting that, Blake. No one's arguing that with you. But it's still fun to get you riled up. And Get your blood pressure going a little bit. And you know why I didn't text you any chirps last night? Because when Calgary like completely shit the bed against Dallas, you actually sent me a nice tweet and was like, dude, like, I'm sorry, man. And I knew that it's an all-time Calgary low when I have Canucks fans tweeting me, or not tweeting me, texting me saying, oh, dude, like, I'm sorry. This is that bad.
Well, it's just like,
so that's why
I've been there. Dude. I've been there with my team. Like, I've seen.
That's why I let you off the hook. Man.
Now I'm just like, dude, I know how you feel, bro. Like,
it's like bad.
The playoffs it's a bunch of ups and it's a bunch of downs, and then right now the Canucks are going through the downs.
Yeah. Oof. So we're going to get junior hockey. Let's switch gears a little bit. Are we going to get junior hockey this year? What's the status up in Canada? I'll give you the status in the U.S.
Well, Manitoba Junior Hockey League is going to start October 9th.
They are.
And it's going to be 50% capacity to start, and you're just going to have to social distance. I mean, it's tough. I mean,
how are they going to make it, though, with 50%?
We came up with a plan where if we stagger seats and a whole row isn't out of question.
So are you going to make sure people drink twice as much beer then, or something, just to try to offset the funds there?
Well, I don't know. Like, we're gonna have to get creative. I mean, that's what it gets down to. We got to figure out a way to get the most people in the seats that we can, while properly following the guidelines. So it's going to be challenging for sure. We've had a lot of meetings about like ways that we can sell more seats, whether it's more standing room seats or I don't know. It's definitely going to be challenging. But what's the news on the Minotauros? You got anything?
The USHL looks like a December 1 start, and then the North American Hockey League has not released their schedule. They actually promised it last week, and it didn't happen because they're having problems with just a couple teams that said they're not playing this year. So I mean that's going to happen. And then there's a couple states that are being harder than other states, and like the state of Minnesota isn't allowing them to play until November 1st. Which is
Tampa
fine.
Bay just scored. Wow.
Breaking news in double overtime, Tampa Bay ends.
What a fluky goal. Always how it is, man.
Boston's
through traffic and
Hedman gets a goal.
Good for them.
Back to junior hockey. So it looks like a late October start with the Minnesota teams playing on the road to start the season, and then some cities are requiring different attendance levels. In the city I live in, we can sell out the building if we want. So that's good. Yeah. That's good. And we'll be back, and hopefully players are actually reporting this week. So that's good.
It's really weird though. In Canada, you got Manitoba starting up in October, right? And then you got the SJHL starting up, I think, October 18th or October 21st or something like that.
Okay.
And then you got the BCHL December 1st.
Yeah.
It's December 1st. So it's like, it makes you wonder, like, how can you have all these junior leagues start at separate times?
Well, you know
like,
why that is. It
doesn't make sense to me.
No, but it's not. It's out of their control.
Yeah, that is true.
It's based on the political officials in those areas.
And unfortunately, BC has way more COVID cases than Saskatchewan and Manitoba.
Oh, more people.
That's what it comes down to.
More people.
Way more people. Yeah, way more people. So
but
it is what it is. But
then my thought too is, how is this going to affect the NCAA? It sounds like a lot of teams aren't playing.
I'll tell you what it's going to happen is you're going to see a lot of those players probably go to the CHL. I mean,
can't.
Yeah, you can. Sure, you can. They have their rights.
Yeah, but most of them are over 20 years old if they're in the NCAA. Most of those guys are 20 years.
I mean, guys like I'm just thinking of guys like Cole Caulfield, who went and played in Wisconsin as a true freshman last year, and I want to say that the London Knights have his OHL rights.
I believe
I want to say
that's right.
I want to say that they have his right. So there was talks about him going because he's only 18. He would just be turning 19 actually. So there's possibility of him going there. I mean, all those true freshmen. I mean, if they are owned by the CHL and they have the rights, I think that they would have to go there because where else are you going to play hockey?
Overseas? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's
tough. I mean, you go to a school like Harvard and you're paying $50,000 and you're not even playing sports.
Well, they're not paying. Most of those guys are on scholarships, but
I'm saying.
But think about this dilemma though, Blake. How do you walk away from a Harvard scholarship?
Yeah, that's tough.
That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one.
Well, it depends where you're at in your hockey career.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're close to getting to the NHL and it's Harvard scholarship or the CHL for a year, I think any player is going to go to the CHL. It's sorry, I can't talk today. The player is going to do whatever's best for their career.
Yeah.
And if that means going to the CHL, then I mean that's what has to happen, I guess. What a weird goal! Wow.
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of long-term effects for junior hockey and college hockey, and I think it's going to change the landscape of hockey, and I think some players are going to kind of get screwed, but that's, I guess, the way it goes. Should we get on with the show, though?
Yeah, no.
I like breaking news in our shows. We don't get that very often, but we are.
I'm doing
a regular
season. Picture right now. I got the game going on in the top right-hand corner with the Zoom.
It's done now. It's done. So we can roll on. But on today's show, we're going to talk a little bit about race and sports, and we're going to roll on into the Stanley Cup Playoffs round 2, and then we'll go around the league and talk about a trade, some Coyote troubles, Torts gets fined, and Dale Talon gets in a little bit of trouble also. But should be an action-packed show. We appreciate each and every one of you guys listening. And we also are looking for sponsors. We've got a couple sponsors lined up for season 2, but we are always looking for more. If you're interested in sponsoring the debate, give us a jingle on Twitter or send us an email or check us out on Inside Edge Hockey News. And we'd love to get you on board and have you part of the team.
Inside Edge Hockey News, bringing the NHL to the fans.
All right, Blake, let's talk about race and sports. And you know what? Let's preface this because both me and you kind of wanted to take the high road on this one. I don't know. I just didn't feel like talking about it. I know you didn't feel like talking about it, but then I thought about it, and I thought long and hard, and I thought, and I actually got multiple messages from listeners saying, you guys have to talk about this, because they wanted to know what we thought, and I thought that was pretty cool, actually. But I also thought, our show is the debate. Hello. Yeah. We're supposed to talk about controversial issues. That's kind of what we do. And, so Blake and I are going to fire off our opinions. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that people around the league are saying. And, then we're going to talk about more positive stuff. And we're going to talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs. Blake, give me your short synopsis of your opinion, and I'll give you mine.
Well, obviously, you understand what the NBA and the NHL is doing. They're using their platform to gain awareness, right? And
can I interrupt there or not?
What's up?
Is it their duty to do that?
Let me talk. Okay. All right. So I sent out. Did you see the tweet I sent out the other day?
Well, I think you were pissed, weren't you?
I tweeted out. I said, "This is my exact words." I said, "I'm sorry this might be an unpopular opinion, but what is boycotting / canceling sports games going to do right now in a world that fears change?" Right? I mean,
I couldn't agree more.
And this world fears change.
What?
This world fears change. They don't like that word. They don't like the word. And protesting and boycotting these games, What is the difference if the games were played 2 days before or 2 days after? I mean,
I agree.
The same stuff. The same stuff is still going on in the outside world. Like in a sense, I get what they're doing, but I mean, at the end of the day, black people are still getting shot. They're still getting killed. Lots of people are getting shot and killed for that matter.
Yeah. Why is it just blacks? It's everybody.
But the one thing that, I mean, white people could probably educate themselves on is we don't know what it's like to live in their shoes.
They don't know what it's like to live in ours either.
That's what I'm saying. But I mean, it's actually opened my eyes a little bit on social media. Like there's been a lot of posts of white people getting the benefit of the doubt in conflicts with cops. It's actually been all over my Twitter feed. Like people are just blasting it on there.
Okay, how about the 7-year-old boy that was shot in the head the other day, a white boy, and nobody said a word about it. It's not. It doesn't make them. Doesn't.
Well, I mean,
why is it okay?
The problem about
and you know this last guy that was shot. There's a lot more to it.
Okay. Yes, I agree. Like there's a warrant for his arrest and stuff,
and he had a gun.
He was a convicted felon, and he might have had a knife in his car. He might have had a gun, but
he had a gun.
That doesn't warrant a guy to get shot 7 times in the back.
He wasn't listening. Okay, so then I know, but let me ask you this question: what if he would have stabbed the kids? Then everybody would be in outrage that the law enforcement officer didn't do his job.
But
right. Yes, Blake, they would have. But you know what? You know what the sad part of that is? It wouldn't have made the news. It wouldn't have made the news if 2 little kids got killed because that's not important. But that's what we've turned into.
Well, I was going to say, the media tells us what we want to hear every single time.
No, the media tells us what they want us to hear.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
What they want us to hear, not what
they paint the picture.
Yeah, and the pictures have been skewed.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, yes, but wouldn't you agree though that like cops are so quick to pull their gun? Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely not.
What do you mean, absolutely not? So you're telling me
more white people get shot. More white people get shot by cops than black people.
Hold on.
Blake, I'm going to tell you something. You're barking up the wrong tree if you want to go down with cops. Okay?
Hold on. Did you watch the video?
Yeah.
Did you see the video of this guy getting shot? Okay. So you're telling me that this guy walks from the boulevard to the side of his truck, and you're telling me you can't stop this guy from entering his car, and you weakly attempt to grab this guy. You grab his shirt, and before he gets in his car, your first instinct is to shoot this guy 7 times in the back. It's not right.
I don't know that you totally watched it, but
I did.
Anyways,
watch it.
I'm just going to throw in my 2 cents. I grew up in a household where my dad was a law enforcement officer. I spent my childhood worrying if my dad was going to get shot. My dad risked his life every single day, and I lived in fear. My dad knocked on numerous people's doors and had to break the news to them that their kids were killed in a car accident or this and that. My dad had to go in and do CPR on people. My dad's had to drag half dead bodies out of cars, kids in car seats that were killed. There's a lot more to being a law enforcement officer. They risk their lives every day, and it's hard on their family. Hard.
100%, yeah.
And I grew up with it. And my dad put in 25 or 30 years, I can't remember what it was, and retired. And thank goodness he never got shot, and he never had to shoot anybody. He had a lot of times where I sat at breakfast dinner with my dad where his hands were all cut up or bleeding because someone tried to run or someone pushed him or tried to fight with him. There's a lot more to this. We're only hearing what the media wants us to hear and part of it.
I agree. I mean,
and I'm not defending all cops because you know what? I've seen a lot of things in which they use wrong judgment. But you want to know something? And especially going back to the George Floyd one. I have yet to hear a cop say that that's okay.
Yeah. No, yeah,
I've yet to hear that. And I've yet to hear anybody try to justify the George Floyd killing. I've yet to hear that. But that's not what we hear. It was a chance for them to raise hell. And you know what? I'm not a racist, and I think of black people the same as white people. Actually, one of my best friends, Sam Smith's a black man. He listens to the podcast every week. Thanks, buddy. I don't look at people as black and white. And you know what? I think a lot of our society, it's not the 1930s anymore. I think we've come a long way. Are we where we need to be? No, I don't think so. I don't. And you know what? I don't know that we ever will be. I hope so. That would be wonderful. But I think we made huge steps. But I just don't know that, like, burning cars and buildings is going to make me look at the black race any differently. As a matter of fact, I think it might make white people look at them in a more negative light. And I don't want that, man. I don't want that at all. I want us to all be one. But we can't be if you're burning our houses down. So I get what the NHL is trying to do. And I don't like defending the NBA, but I get what they're trying to do. And I get that they're a public platform. I just don't really know that. Are we better in this world racially this week than we were last week because they sat out 2 days? I don't think so. Do you?
No, definitely not.
So I think,
still, like I said,
I think these
stuff still goes on.
I know. And so I was kind of hoping that maybe the athletes would use their common sense like LeBron James, and instead of pushing hate out there, why can't they, like, I haven't heard of anybody saying, you know what, we need to get to the youth. That's really where this starts, right? That's the grassroots. That's who we need to educate. But I don't see anybody saying, hey, let's start a program that will help teach all kids in school about how races are actually all the same and we need to treat each other the same. But instead of doing good and developing programs like that, why can't sports athletes do something good like that and put their money and their resources into helping that and to teach and ingrain. And then it will grow as a society. All of us will. But I don't know how sitting out on Tuesday night's going to help. Right?
Well, I mean,
am I wrong?
They started the DHA. That's a start, no?
You want to, and I'm all for that. But you want to hear something? Let's talk about that. You mean the HDA? You mean?
Oh, sorry, HDA.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm all for that. But listen to this. Did you hear what they want now? First of all, they wanted to change
black blue lines.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, that's not happening. Okay, that's not happening.
Yeah.
And then here's what else they want. And here's what I don't understand. And I got a question to society on this one. They want us to put percentages of NHL executives. They want 3.5% of them to be black by the end of 2024, 25. They want black employment and hockey-related personnel to be 5% before next year, 8% before 22, 23. They want 10% of non-hockey-related personnel to be black and 12.5% to be before 2022, 23. So, okay, that's fine. But then...
Okay, so basically they just want a random black person getting hired.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
That's not how it works. You need to be qualified for the job.
I'm with you. But here's the problem, Blake. And I agree completely with what you're saying. But if we're truly... Okay, don't we say hockey's for everyone, right?
That's the word, I guess, yeah.
Well, how come then if we're going to have these numbers, don't we need that many Mexicans and that many Chinese and that many Russians and that many everything in the league?
That's a good point.
Right? Because we're not just talking about blacks, right? We want equality for everybody, right? Or is this just a black thing? Because the way I read hockey for everyone would mean we will look at you the same no matter what color skin you have, right? So then shouldn't these other races have those numbers too? I don't get it. I don't understand. And then, so then do we take it a step further and say, well, I think that 8% of the NBA should be white, the players.
Well, it definitely is.
Okay, 20%.
Probably.
I mean, if you flip it around,
it's probably 20% right now.
But Blake, if we said that to them, they would think we're ludicrous, right?
Yeah.
That's all I'm getting at. It's like, I just want us to embrace everybody. And quite honestly, in the last decade, in the world of hockey, I think we've done
23%.
I think we've
23%.
done. I think
NBA 23%.
I think we've done a pretty good job. I don't think I've.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a touchy subject, obviously, but
Oh, I know, and that's why we.
Can we talk about how much of a joke the NHL is for a quick second? Just like quick.
Yeah, sure.
So the players and the NHL decided to take 2 days off. Okay.
Yep.
So
no, the players decided to take 2 days off.
Or the players decided. Okay, so the NHL then, instead of pushing all the games back,
okay, well,
they're just gonna decide to just throw them all together.
Well, Blake, the reason they jumbled them together is, think about it this way. Should the owners have to pay more money for them to be in the bubble because they wanted to take a couple days off?
Yeah, I understand that, but at the end of the day, it's safety of the players.
Okay, so then they shouldn't have taken the days off.
I get that. I understand that, but since when has there ever been 5 playoff games played in 7 days?
There hasn't.
Explain that to me.
Well, explain to me last time they were in a bubble.
I understand everything is unique and
it's crazy this year. That's just what we're going to get, Blake. And we got to embrace it because we don't have a choice.
If the Philly series and the Vancouver series go to 7, it's going to be 5 games in 7 nights with 2 back-to-backs. Like that is just just deflating.
But they made that bed, Blake.
I understand that.
They did. And I hate to say that because I think, you know what, honestly, I feel kind of bad for the NHL players because I think they were put under the gun on this one.
Oh, they were 100% put under the gun because the NHL is always late to the party with this stuff.
No, they're not late to the party on this stuff.
They had an opportunity to do it before the NBA. They did.
Big deal. So why should they?
They were the last sport.
So why? Oh, because you know what? I realize the world is a whole lot better place the next day after we sat out and had no hockey, right? I'm sure their black problems in the world just went way down.
No,
I mean, that's how dumb this is, though, Blake. That's how dumb it is.
I agree.
I know.
That I already said that. Like, what is the point of doing this? Like, what is it going to do right now? I already said that.
Did you not think it was a little bit funny when the NBA takes it a couple days off and then a bunch of their players say, "Well, we're not playing anymore the rest of the year," and then they had a vote. Yeah, then their players' association told how much money they stand to lose, and all of a sudden the players are like, "Oh shit, I'm not giving up my money for this. I'm playing." For the cause until it affects my pocketbook. I'm for the cause. Oh wait, I'm going to lose money. Oh, now I'm not for the cause. That's what happened in the NBA, right, Blake?
I guess.
Let's talk Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm sick of talking about this, but that's our rant. That's our that's our thoughts on the topic. Round 2. We better go to the Eastern Conference. We got to get your blood pressure down and mine too, right?
Sure.
Tampa Bay, Boston. Let's talk that one first, just because it just ended. Tampa Bay wins this series 4-1. Are you surprised, Blake? Because I picked Boston in 6. You picked Tampa in 7. So you should be.
Well, I'm not surprised, and I will just be the first. I want you to admit to me on this podcast that Yaroslav Halak was affected by playing back-to-back games. I want you to admit that because he clearly was.
I don't know that he was the only one.
But you told me last week that since they're in the bubble and that there's no travel, that back-to-backs aren't going to have effect on goalies. You saw it with Markstrom last night. You saw it with Halak.
Yeah, but the other goalies played back-to-backs too, though, Blake, right?
No, they haven't.
Who didn't?
No, they haven't.
Who did? Do you think it was
Fleury,
a good?
Leonard didn't play back-to-back.
Yeah, but did you think it was a good decision to go to Fleury? Because I wouldn't have.
Yes, 100%. That's
He
your guy.
He didn't win that game for him last night.
Okay, but he stopped enough pucks for them to win the game.
No, I agree with that.
Did he not?
I agree
he only
with
let in
that.
3 goals.
Well, Vasilevsky played back-to-back. You didn't see him have any problems.
Well, they have no choice. They're just like the Canucks. They have no choice. They don't have
Boston didn't have a choice either. Same thing. They had no choice in Boston. They had no choice in Tampa Bay.
They didn't have a choice because their starting goalie quit on the team.
What the hell's the difference between Vasilevsky and Halak? They both played back-to-backs.
One's 35 and one's 23. Huge difference there, buddy.
Well, find a different age. Find a different age goalie then.
Huge difference.
You can't use that excuse from Markstrom because he's not old.
Well, he's 30.
He's probably one of the most sought-after goalies this year that's on the UFA market. He's going to get offers from a ton of teams.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
Vancouver isn't even going to let him hit the open market.
And if you're a Vancouver fan, I hope not. I think it would be silly to let him. But if they do...
Jim Benning is not stupid.
Well, I hope not. I hope not.
But, I mean, to answer your question, am I surprised? I'm really not. I mean, Tampa Bay's a good team. But Boston just seemed to run out of gas. And Pasternak hasn't looked like his self.
He hasn't.
He seemed like he was playing hurt. I mean, he scored a goal today. But, yeah, he a lot like Malkin when he played in the playoffs. He just didn't look like himself at all.
Something's not right, yeah. Huh. I don't know.
I mean, the guy scored 48 goals. Again, he just didn't look like that dominant self at all.
So that series ends in a 4-1. We've had a lot of 4-1s here in the first 2 rounds. New York Island
3-1s.
Yeah, no, 4-1. They won 4-1. They won the series 4-1.
Oh no, but all 4 series are at 3-1 or no?
Yeah, I know, but we had a lot of 4-1 outs in round 1, and I'm saying,
that's right.
Now we got 1 in round 2, and we're set for, I don't know, we're set for a couple more here, aren't we? Except for Colorado's got something to say about that tonight.
Yeah, no, Colorado definitely came out firing the guns a-blazing here. They're at the end of the second period, they're up 6-2. So
Islanders, Flyers. That series currently sits 3-1. Islanders have won the last 2 games to push it to 3-1. And tomorrow night, the Islanders look to knock off the Philadelphia Flyers.
I'll tell you, I was this close to predicting the Islanders in 5 in the series. I almost did. I picked them in 6.
You picked them in 6. You're doing better in the East than me. I'm doing better in the West.
I picked them in 6, but I was this close to picking them in 5. Like I was like on the fence because this team gets depth scoring up and down the lineup. And when you look at Philadelphia, Giroux, garbage, Voracek, nothing. Up and down. JVR, he's making $7 million. He's on the 4th line, nothing.
Yeah.
And AV starting Elliott last night.
What was he doing?
I tweeted. Quote me on this. Go look at my Twitter. I said AV not starting Carter Hart might have just costed the Flyers series. What a bonehead move. Carter Hart is 22 years old. He can start back-to-back games. That's not a problem.
I would think so.
Problem.
I think they all should.
Plus, you had 2 days off before that for this stupid pause. So, I don't know. That was just those are coaching decisions that get a guy fired. If that's a rookie coach, most likely he gets canned. Maybe he's going to get the benefit of the doubt because of his track record. But man, what a bonehead move. I mean, don't get me wrong. Elliott played a good hockey game, but I mean, when you look at the Islanders, Varlamov and Greiss, I'm confident with either one of those two.
Oh, I am too.
Hart and Elliott.
Not so much.
Not so much, no.
You know, I picked Philly in this one. I don't know. Was I drinking this day? Because I don't ever usually pick the Flyers, and I hadn't up until this point. I had them losing in the first round, I think, and maybe I'm wrong.
You picked the Flyers in 5 games against Montreal.
Oh, I did against Montreal. Yeah, that's easy. I got it right too.
Yeah.
But I was delusional in this one, but because the Islanders played good in round 1, and you know what, Blake, I'm gonna have to break it to you. The Islanders are my team now to watch the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah, no, the way that Barry Trotz plays, it's a very boring style. Like, the NHL's worst nightmare is a Dallas Islanders final, because it would be a trap series. There would be no goals. Every game be 0-0 going in.
I know, but Dallas has been lighting it up lately, man. They're playing like 6-5 games every night, man.
Yeah, until they hit the Barry Trotz trap and they can't score. Barry Trotz went up 2 goals last night, and you couldn't see an Islanders body inside the Flyers zone. They're already behind the red line defending.
And they win.
I give him credit. Like, it works, and he's a genius. He's one of the best coaches in the NHL. And Washington, man, what the hell are they doing? Not signing that guy after he won them the Stanley Cup, man. What a boneheaded move. But yeah, I'm rooting for the Islanders in the East, and I hope they go to the Cup. That would be cool.
It would be cool.
They haven't been there since the 80s.
No, I know. It's been a long, long time.
It's been like 30 years since the Bossies were there, no? Back when they played the Oilers.
Nystrom and Bossy and the big heyday years.
They had the 4 cups in a row. Their last Stanley Cup win was actually against the Canucks in 83, I think. Yeah, 83 or 84.
Yeah, I think it was 84.
83 or 84. They swept Vancouver. I think they swept Vancouver in 83, if I remember correctly. Obviously, I wasn't alive, but history guy, big history guy.
Yeah, you're a big history guy.
It's not like American history, hockey history. You know?
On to the Western Conference, and let's talk Colorado Dallas as we sit right now in Game 5. Game 5. Dallas leads the series 3-1, which I still am having a hard time coming to grips with. Colorado does currently lead 6-2 as they head to the third period. Dallas has won Game 1 5-3, Game 2 5-2, Game 3 they lost 6-4, Game 4 they won 5-4. They've scored 4 goals in every single game except for this one tonight, and they still could tonight. Crazy.
When you're scoring four goals a night, you're going to win a lot of hockey games in the playoffs.
And they're scoring some pretty goals too, Blake.
Yeah, I know. And before the pause, Dallas struggled to score goals. And since they came out of the bubble, I don't know if it's the bubble, if it took all the pressure off of the team or something, but they just have clicked. Like, they were scoring at will against the Calgary Flames. I mean, I think they scored 7 goals in 2 of those games. I mean, it was just crazy that they can have that much.
Don't screw my Flames over. They scored 7 goals one time.
Oh, maybe it was like 6 or something.
They scored. Here's what they scored against Calgary. They scored 2 in Game 1, 5 in Game 2, 0 in Game 3, 5 in Game 4, 2 in Game 5, and 7 in Game 6.
Oh, so 3 5s and 1 7.
2 5s. 2 5s.
2 5s and 1 7.
2 2s and a 0.
But
but look at this. Calgary
17 goals in 3 games.
Calgary had 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. Calgary had 17 goals too.
Yeah, the whole series.
Yeah.
Dallas had 17 in 3 games. That's the difference.
They had 21. They had 21 in the series.
Yeah, so Dallas is that top line with Radulov, Benn, Sagan is clicking. This series honestly was close to being a sweep. You look at Game 3. Dallas led that hockey game. Hey, they let that lead get away.
We both picked Colorado in 5. Now that's not going to happen, but I still
definitely not.
I still think Colorado wins this.
Well, that's one of my questions. Don't.
Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. All right. Sorry, I didn't know your question. I don't know your questions, man. All right.
I know.
Are you ready to talk Vancouver, Vegas?
I guess so.
Vegas leads the series 3-1. Vegas wins Game 1, 5-0. Game 2, Vancouver comes back strong and wins 5-2 in a very impressive outing. Vegas shuts them out in Game 3, 3-0. And then last night wins 5-3, coming from behind, scoring 3 goals in the third period last night on a night that, Vegas is such a damn hard team to play against because they come at you in so many different waves, man, and they can be so fast at times, and at other times they can be so physical. Couple of things that I've seen hurt Vancouver a little bit. I think they've gotten into the stupid Ryan Reeves game. I do.
Don't even say that because
even
I am so sick of this guy getting an ISOCAM on the ice.
Oh, it's terrible.
This guy is irrelevant.
He's making himself relevant, though.
Oh my God! Like him going like this to Travis Green and like.
I know, but you know what? Here's the deal, though. Here's the deal.
Don't chirp. That's like an unwritten rule in the NHL. Don't chirp.
I agree. You never chirp a coach, and a coach should never chirp a player. But you know what?
All he told him was talk to the players. Don't talk to me.
Yeah, he should have just ignored him. He should have just turned his head.
Guy's a clown. Honestly, Ryan Reeves is one of the biggest jokes in the NHL. I don't even know how he has a job.
Well, because he's effective. He's effective.
Is he effective?
Oh yes, he's got Antoine Roussel wrapped around his finger, man.
Did you see the hit on Quinn Hughes?
I did, and I thought it was. Was
it a penalty?
Yeah, it was a penalty.
2 minutes for boarding, and they go down and score. So classic refs miss. Numbers.
I was at a 2 minute, and even Travis Green said 2 minutes today.
I just said 2 minutes for boarding.
Yeah, and
they go down and score like that.
But
the reffing in this whole playoffs.
But hey, wait a second now,
garbage.
Though. Vancouver got tons of breaks in period 2.
Yes, yes, and their high stick Besser. They missed it. They should have reviewed it. I understand that. That's on the refs. It's not on the Canucks.
And there was a puck over glass in period 2. Or in game 2. In game 2.
Yeah, against the Canucks, that was brutal. It was awful. No, that was game 3, actually.
The 3. I know there's been multiple calls missed. But I'm not blaming it on the Canucks, Blake. I'm just saying the refs missed them.
Here's my thing. If you can review an offside by 0.5 millimeters offside for 10 minutes, you can't review? You're telling me you can't review a puck out of play that takes 5 seconds?
But I thought they could this year, and I also thought they could.
You can't. No, you can only review like high sticks by friendly fire.
Well, why didn't that get reviewed last night? Then?
I don't know. It was a missed call.
I was didn't you? When it happened, I thought, that'll get reviewed. That no big deal. I did. I thought, no, that's not going to be a call.
Yeah, and I mean that was one of the biggest turning points in the hockey game. I mean, Vancouver got 2 late power plays in the second period to try
didn't score, and then all of a sudden, momentum went.
And didn't score. But I'll say this: for the first time in a while, Jacob Markstrom let the team down. I mean, he's bailed us out time and time again. And the Canucks won a lot of hockey games because of Jacob Markstrom. But there was 3 goals last night that went straight through him with no traffic in front. That Nate Schmidt goal, you got to have that. And I mean, that just deflates your team. I mean, like JT Miller said in the press conference, I mean, that's a golden opportunity. Up 1 goal going into the third period. Chance to tie the game, or chance to tie the series 2-2, and they just came out flat in the third period, and it cost them a lot of tough breaks. I mean, the Schmidt goal, it hit the broken stick in the corner like 4 times, and they couldn't get it out. Gaudette gets hauled down right before that goal. That should have been a penalty.
Myers was sucking gas so hard on that play. It looked like Phil Kessel out there after 14 hot dogs.
Didn't you agree?
You did. You got to laugh. Blake, come on. You got to laugh. That was funny as hell last night. You had to, when it was all done though, and you watch it, you had to be like, holy fuck. Like, he looked like he was sucking air. He had a stick on his knees like Phil Kessel. Remember that highlight I played for you in the Calgary game this year when Kessel was like on cardiac arrest out there, sticking his thing, and Calgary scored in overtime, and Kessel just was like, fuck it, I'm out of here.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, Myers hasn't played since game 3 of the St. Louis series. I mean, it's kind of expected your conditioning would be down a bit, but I'm like, going back to that, did you see Gaudette get tripped right before that Schmidt goal?
Yeah, I did.
Like, he's about to pick up the puck and chip it off the glass and get it out.
You know what I thought when that happened?
Blatantly tripped. The ref is looking right at it. He doesn't put his
Do you know what I thought there? You know what I said to myself when that happened, Blake? I said,
don't say a makeup call.
I know.
Think about it.
I said, I did. I said cop out. The referee freaking didn't call that because he knew he blew the call last period. I did.
Oh, yeah.
I said some bitch.
You can't ref a game like that, bro.
No, I know, but they do.
A trip like that is a joke.
But Blake, they do. I said it right away. I said he didn't call that because of that call last period. I guarantee it. I guarantee he let it go because of that.
It's like, okay, but that like usually a ref calls a penalty when it leads to the other team's scoring chance.
I know. It was a bad deal. It was a bad deal. And you know what?
I mean,
and as soon as
Myers falls asleep on the goal in front of the net, he doesn't lift Carlson's stick, and then they get the goal off Pacioretty skating in the net. And as soon as that goal went in, I was like, the game's over.
I did too. I knew it was done.
I'm not gonna lie, like I was pretty upset last night. I'm not like,
well, how could you not
be? I mean, yeah, the team played with so much heart in the second period, and they battled back. And
yeah,
Quinn Hughes looked like Quinn Hughes in the second period. He was flying out there.
He looked bad in the first.
Yeah, he didn't play very good in the first, but I mean, the guy hasn't played this much heavy minutes in his whole career.
No,
like, this guy's playing 30 minutes. This guy's playing 30 minutes a night, and he's getting hammered. Like Reeves hammered him a couple times, McNabb's hammered it a couple times in the corner. I mean, they're getting physical on him, and it's gonna help him down the road. I picked the Canucks in 7. I don't know. Like it's a tall task.
I picked Vegas in 6. I think I'm looking pretty good here on this one, but
maybe I'm thinking Vancouver wins tomorrow night. I mean, they're going to come out like Colorado did tonight. I think they're going to come out a hungry team, desperate team. Their backs are against the wall. And Vancouver's got to possibly – now they're back-to-back. Game 6 and Game 7 are back-to-back. So the schedule definitely is not on every team side that's down 3-1, but it's going to be a tall task. I mean, they're going to need Markstrom to stand on his head.
Vegas has got to play 2 games in a row too, though, right?
Yeah, no, I get that, but I mean, they're up in the series, so it's not really a disadvantage.
Yeah, wow.
Right? You know, what I mean? They have a bad game in Game 6. It's still 3-3. You got one game.
Blake, think about this: if Vancouver wins the next game, and then is competitive in the next game, and then all of a sudden it's got to go back to back, they're going to be shitting their pants. It's going to be more. That's going to be more stress on Vegas because at this point, when it's 3-1 right now, aren't the Canucks playing with house money?
Oh, I said that at the start of the podcast.
Right?
The Canucks are 100% playing with house money this whole playoffs because nobody picked them to beat St. Louis.
No, so Vegas is clinching it.
Lots of people.
If Vancouver wins tomorrow night, Vegas will be clinching their butthole really hard.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can't give Vancouver a sniff because you give Vancouver an inch, they might take a mile.
Well,
they're a good hockey team.
How did we go from butthole to inch to a mile? That's not.
Yeah.
How did we go? Jesus.
But I will say this though, as a Canucks fan, I'm proud of how this team has played.
Don't get sentimental till they get knocked out. All right.
No, but I'm just saying though, like win or lose, it's still valuable playoff experience game.
Absolutely.
For and the thing about the Canucks is this year in the playoffs, their best players have been their best players. I mean, Quinn Hughes is 13 points. Pettersson is second in playoff scoring is 17 points. I mean, no offense, it's not like a Calgary situation where you're relying on your third line to do all the scoring. I mean, Vancouver's top 6 has been unbelievable. I think Miller has 14 points. Toffoli has lots of points.
JT Miller's your best player.
Okay, I'll say one thing. JT Miller is not our best. He's not our best player. Pettersson is Pettersson is our best player. JT Miller is our most important player.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I think. I think Pettersson has the most skill, but Miller drives the bus.
But I think tomorrow night your most important player starts with a J and ends with an M.
Yeah, no. Jacob Markstrom, he's going to have to be brilliant. I mean, like I said, you can't let in point-blank goals. Like 2 goals went right through him, and you just didn't see that all year long. And I think it was fatigue. He's not used to playing back-to-back games. And I was a goalie. I'm not saying I played at a super high level, but, I mean, I played back-to-back games before. I mean, the second game, you're tired. You're maybe not focused. I mean, it's tough. I mean, the NHL, everything gets magnified in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You let in a couple of bad goals and it gets blown out of proportion a little bit, but he's got to be better tomorrow. But the Canucks, they have to stop Alex Tuch. I mean, they can't let him just skate to the neutral zone. Like, the fact that Minnesota,
it's like freaking Guy Lafleur going through the middle.
Holy shit. Like, the chip off the glass and boom, gone. I'm like, how does this guy, he's 6'5" and he just skates like Jean Beliveau, for Christ's sakes. Like, it's crazy. And, no, it's like, when you look at Vegas' team, Carlson, Riley Smith, Marchessault, Tuch, Theodore, they got him for free.
Well, yeah, it's because it was an expansion draft, Blake.
No. Those players were extra players given to them not to take other players.
No, I know. It's crazy.
It's absolutely nuts. Like, and people are like, oh, well, Seattle's going to have a same team as Vegas. No, they're not. Because, for one, they're not going to get 3 players. Oh, yeah, we'll give you 3 players so you don't take this one player. No, you're going to get 1 player, and that's how it's going to be. The GMs have learned their lesson, and Vegas is already behind the 8 ball because they don't want to allow Vegas to take advantage of stuff like that. I mean, or pardon me, they don't want Seattle to take advantage like Vegas did, but give Vegas credit. Like,
absolutely.
The way they built their team,
great.
They can play any style they want.
And that's that's why I think they're a favorite for the Cup right now, is because they can play any style. And
I'll tell you what. If Vancouver doesn't meet Vegas, I don't think anybody is.
Well, here's the Stanley Cup. Here's the Stanley Cup probabilities from The Athletic as of today. Tampa Bay's 38% chance to win the Stanley Cup. Vegas 25%. Colorado 11%. Dallas 9%. The Islanders 7%. Boston, which was 5%, is now 0%. Philadelphia 4%, and Vancouver 2%.
I like my chances. Let's go.
All right. Let's roll around the league here and talk quickly about a couple things, and then I can't wait for 3 questions from you. Trade this week. We're not going to talk a ton about it, but Pittsburgh gets Kasperi Kapanen, Pontus Aberg, and Jesper Lindgren from Toronto, and Pittsburgh sends over Evan Rodriguez, 2020 first rounder, David Orlovsky, a defenseman, and Philip Hallander, a forward. Thoughts on this one? I don't have a lot.
This was absolutely mind-boggling what Pittsburgh just did here. Like, Jim Rutherford needs to get his cell phone taken away, because Kasperi Kapanen is a 20-goal scorer, but he's nothing more than a third liner. In a deep draft, you're telling me Kasperi Kapanen is worth a 15th overall pick? Are you kidding me?
I don't think so either.
The thing, like, why teams continue to bail the Leafs out of their cap problems is beyond me. Like, this guy, Kasperi Kapanen is making $3.2 million. Toronto is in a cap problem. Why are you helping them out?
I know.
Kasperi Kapanen is not worth a first round pick. Why are you even doing that? Like, it's Toronto traded a first round pick to get rid of Patrick Marleau's contract, and they just got gifted another first. It's like, what in the hell is going on here? Like,
I know.
Why? Like, oh my God, it just doesn't make sense. Like, last year, like, Carolina helped out Toronto. They took $6 million off their books. And then now last year, Zaitsev, Ottawa taking Zaitsev's $4.7 million. It's like, geez, like, what the hell is going on here?
The National Hockey League has sanctioned punishment on the Arizona Coyotes for violating the NHL Combine's testing policy, and they get drilled with they'll forfeit a second-round pick this year.
Hammered.
And a first-round pick in 2021. And to top things off, if things weren't as bad as you think they could get for Arizona, they don't have a general manager, but they also, besides the draft picks, Cap Friendly put out on Twitter that their bonus overage of $393,902, bringing their projected cap space right now for next year at $80,383, which is just shy of the $81.5 million thing. And the problem is that's only 17 players. They got to figure a way to get 24 players under that cap. They are not going to have Taylor Hall next year.
No, they're definitely screwed.
They are totally screwed. I have no idea what they're going to do.
John Chaika's laughing right now, though.
Yeah, he is.
He's out of Dodge. I mean, honestly, when I saw that, I thought that I think John Chaika knew the writing was on the wall with his picks, and I think he got out of there just in the nick of time.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly think that he knew that they were going to lose picks and they were going to get punished, and he took the easy way out, which is kind of a coward move.
Well, it'll probably haunt him never getting hired by another NHL job. But he's rumored to be going to New Jersey is what the rumor is, but we have no definite answer on that. John Tortorella fined $25,000 for his post-game conference after being knocked out of the first round by the Tampa Bay Lightning. We touched on this last week a little bit. We're not going to touch on it more. But did you think $25,000 is a little steep?
I mean, I think that's just the minimum.
That's the going rate.
Yeah, I mean, when Rob Bendermeyer got fined $25,000 for. So
this is funny. This is funny because the going rate for players is like $2,000, and they make like
maximum of $5.
Okay, maximum of $5, and they make like $4.8 million a year, and then the maximum
coaches make like $2.
Coaches make like $500,000, and they get fined $25,000. That makes a lot of fucking sense, NHL. Come on, Jesus. Dale Talon. I'm not going to talk about this long because I don't want to, but Dale Talon, former GM for the Panthers, accused of a racial slur while in the bubble. But my problem with this one is it's by an anonymous thing. Should a guy get in trouble and lose?
Is this guy credible?
Who knows?
Shit at the wall?
Could be a guy making the omelets in the morning. Like, I don't know. Like, that's the part that bothers me on this one. Like, maybe he did it. I don't know. And if he did, yeah, that's wrong. I completely disagree with it. But if some poor guy is going to lose his livelihood and lose his reputation on this, come on, we need a credible source here. We need a credible source.
And can we just talk about how former Canucks GM Mike Gillis, who absolutely destroyed that Cup team, got a second interview in Florida for the GM job? What an absolute joke.
Florida.
I'm surprised this guy still wants a job in hockey after that debacle that this man traded Luongo and Schneider within a year.
Hey, Blake, how many times have we said that the dumpster fire in Arizona and Florida is bigger than a dumpster?
I don't know. This move this team to Quebec or Houston or Kansas City or something. I don't care.
No, Quebec.
Jeez.
Right? It's called Quebec. Have hockey in Quebec.
We'll move Florida to Quebec, and we'll move Carolina back, or not Carolina. We'll move Arizona to Hartford and call it good.
Oh, I'd love that. All right, let's get out of here. Let's go on to 3 questions.
Inside Edge Hockey News. Lighting the lamp and raising the cup.
It's time for 3 questions.
All right, Blake, your turn this week. My turn was last week. Fire away.
Okay. What team has the best chance to come down from a 3-1 deficit?
Colorado. And I'm not just saying that because they're up 6-2. They're more talented than Vancouver. They're more talented than Philadelphia. And Boston's done. I think, honestly, Blake, they're the only team that has a chance. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. I mean, anything can happen, right? I mean,
anything can. We've seen that, and you know how my predictions have gone.
Yeah, but I'm going to say Dallas too, or pardon me, Colorado. But my next question
are you drinking tonight, Blake?
What? Yeah, I'm drinking a Coke.
Oh, okay, all right.
What team are you most shocked that's in a 3-1 hole right now?
Colorado. I thought they were gonna kick the shit out of Dallas. I did. I just thought that all Dallas has played out of their head. They beat a crummy Calgary team, and here we go. And they're gonna get wiped. That's why I picked them in 5. And then they just totally proved me wrong. I don't know. Just crazy. Totally didn't prove me.
Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar have noticeably struggled in this round. Is it the more physical play, or is there just too much pressure on these kids? I mean, did you see Makar's gaff last game?
Yeah, I did.
He just doesn't.
Here's the deal.
Like, both players just don't seem like themselves.
Both players have had huge moments, high and low. And I think there's only one way to sum it up. Like, they're inexperienced, man. What do you expect? They're young kids. They're just young kids. Yeah. There's a lot of pressure on them. They're playing for Stanley Cup. They're young kids. I don't rip on either one of these two. These two are premier defensemen in the league, and both of them are going to have great careers. We may differ on which one we think is going to have a better career, but I think both of them are going to have awesome careers. They're both hell, they're great hockey players. I wouldn't worry about either one of them, man. I wouldn't worry a bit about them.
I was just curious because they had so much success in the first round against St. Louis, and then who did they play?
Who? Colorado? Are you drawing a blank?
Who did they play first?
Well, Colorado played Arizona.
Shit, Arizona. Yeah, they both thrive in those series, and then they just have them in themselves. So I was just curious on where your thoughts were, but it's gonna be interesting to see how they respond. You got a listener question?
Yeah, Blake's gonna down another Bud Light here, and then we're gonna roll on to the. I'm just joking. He's having some memory issues. Bear with him though.
I got Natty Lights in the fridge.
Yeah, well, you better stick to the Coke. All right, listener question. You ready?
Sure.
How will the NHL handle the regular season next year? Will they play it like Major League Baseball and travel and play in front of no fans? I'll preface this with one thing. There's a report this week that I can't remember who it was by, but it was a credible source. I want to say...
Elliot Friedman.
No, it wasn't Elliot. It was one of the main insiders, though. A credible source said that he's hearing that the NHL and the PA have had preliminary talks about having a 4-city bubble where you rotate 31 teams through in eight game increments. They talked about having all of them in Canada, but that is not fully determined yet, or if this will even happen is not fully determined yet. Go ahead.
Serious?
Yeah. I'm going to give you my 2 cents here on this one. I don't think they will play in a bubble next year because I don't think the players would ever agree to that. That would be a lot of months away from normal life and stuck in a hotel, and I don't think that's going to happen. Plus, I don't think the owners.
You want to lose money, or you want to play hockey?
Yeah, but here's part 2 to it though, Blake. I don't think the owners can afford to play in a bubble.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Like the gate.
Well, not even that. The beer sales and just
merchandise and
there's so much more. There's like so much more.
You go to a Canucks game or go to a Flames game. Their jerseys are $200.
Yeah,
and they're flying off the rack. People spend crazy money at the games, and they buy programs for $10. They buy $12 beers, and all that shit adds up. And you times that by 41 games. It's a lot of damn money.
You want to hear more?
I think they'll play in front of fans. Like, eventually you just got to play, man.
Right?
Like, what are you going to do this for the next 15 fucking years?
Well, the CDC reported in the States today that 94% of the cases where people have died from COVID was because of other underlying issues, meaning that only 6% of the people have actually, I don't know. I have my opinions on that. But I think that if teams decide to play in front of no fans or i.e. a bubble, it's a recipe for disaster and teams will fold. I believe that. I honestly believe that would happen.
Arizona and Florida?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's a few teams that could fall into that. You got teams paying out $80 million. I mean, this cap, holy cow. I mean, think about the whole thing there without fans. I don't think that the league will start up until they can play with fans in the arena. If I had to project, that would be January, and I think next year will be a 48-game schedule. That's my prediction.
I'm gonna so it's gonna be similar to the 2012-2013 lockout season.
Yep. That's just my idea. Yeah. I think that's the most feasible.
I could see I could totally see Gary Bettman doing a outdoor game on January 1st to kick off the season. Like I could see something like that. I think he got to at least play 60 games.
How do you get that in, though? We can't play all next summer again. We can't. We can't do this next summer.
I actually like it, though. It's fun.
I know, but we can't do this every year, Blake.
I honestly would support playing hockey in the summer. Yes.
It'd kill him.
Yes.
It'd kill him.
Yes. Why not just change the schedule?
Television ratings would be horrendous. People don't want to watch us. The only reason we're watching this year is because 2020 is so damn crazy. Normal year, I'm sorry, Blake. Normal year and a weekend in July, people are going to the lake. They're not watching hockey.
Okay, here.
You wouldn't have to compete with the NFL, and you wouldn't have to compete with the NBA. Wouldn't you think that's a good opportunity for the NHL to market their game and showcase their game? Be a little different than other sports?
No, I know other ownerships.
The NHL is a copycat to the NBA.
No,
same schedule, same.
Well, why would you not say that maybe the NBA copies the NHL?
Well, I mean, it could be vice versa, but I'm saying both leagues are copycats. Both play same amount of games.
What's the big deal though, Blake? Like,
but I'm just saying.
I think television viewership would suck in the summer. I just do.
The NHL fails to market their players, and maybe switch it up.
Why do people keep saying that? What do you want them to do?
Okay,
you don't think that we don't hear enough about Crosby and Ovechkin?
We already talked about this. Go ask a person in Florida who Alex Barkov is. That's a problem.
Yeah, but
that's fail.
But Blake,
that's bad marketing of players.
Blake,
every single person.
You could have Connor McDavid there, and they wouldn't care. No, you can't. You can't feed burgers to a vegetarian.
I guess.
Right? I mean, if you build a fucking Dairy Queen in Antarctica, people aren't going, man. I think the NHL's done a much better job in the last decade. I do. I really do.
I agree, but
And by the way, we apologize for the sound problems tonight. Blake sounds wonderfully good right now, and the mic had cut out for about half of the show, and we apologize for that. We pride ourselves in making sure the audio is good, and we're sorry.
What do you think of the NHL's dress code in this bubble? Do you think they should just abolish it like it is now?
No. It's one of the things that makes hockey wonderful.
Okay, but that's what I'm talking about. You're not allowing players to show their personality.
We don't. PK Subban doesn't show his personality every night. Brent Burns doesn't come in. Austin Matthews doesn't.
If they want to dress like with a bunch of swagger, why not let them?
I don't want them to come in looking like homeless people. Because we're not the NBA, Blake. Because we're not. We're better than that.
Well,
we're not.
I kind of like the NBA how they dress. It's cool. It's different. It's different. The NHL.
I want them in suits.
NHL is all by the book. Oh, you got to wear suits.
No, it's not by the book.
Dude, it's by the book.
It's called respect, Blake.
Let the players be themselves and showcase and show their personality. I like what they're doing. You're seeing the personalities of players come out by the way they dress. It's awesome. Get rid of the dress code, man. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think it'll happen. I don't think it'll happen.
If they didn't think it would happen, then they would have made them. They wouldn't have put this rule in the bubble.
It's a little different.
Not really. It's not hard to pack a suit, no?
No, I don't disagree. But, I mean, I would bet you want to make a bet on something. If they get rid of the dress code, I'd say 80% of the hockey players will still wear their beautiful suits because that's how hockey players are.
Some probably will, but I mean...
These boys are growing up in the prairies of Saskatchewan, and they know respect, and they will do it.
A lot of young players will probably not do that, though.
Or a lot of young players will remember when they watched Hockey Night in Canada as a kid, and their heroes walked in a suit, and they'll play with that same respect.
We'll see.
Be interesting. It'll be interesting. All right, guys, on our show next week, we will be back. We'll wrap on round 2. We'll discuss what lies ahead in the conference finals. And, yep, we're going to get our predictions again, even though most of the time this year they've sucked. But we'll give it a go. Stanley Cup players are cruising by. And even though this system's a little different and the games are at weird times sometimes. It's been a pretty good playoffs. It's been pretty exciting. I like the matchups. We had a lot of 4-1s, though, going out. I don't know if I like that. I like some Game 7s. Blake and I thank each and every one of you for listening. Please check us out on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe, rate, review us, and most importantly, check back next week. Get connected. The Debate Hockey Podcast can be found on Twitter at Debate Hockey. Also, make sure you check us out on our Facebook page, The Debate Hockey Podcast. Brad Burud can be found on Twitter at Brad Burud, and co-host Blake Friars can also be found on Twitter at Friars_Blake. If you like what you hear, please rate and review us on Apple Podcast. The Debate Hockey Podcast can be found on all major podcast players. And please consider subscribing to the Inside Edge Hockey News on Patreon. That'll get you exclusive content and much more. Thanks again, and enjoy the hockey action.
Kevin Bieksa had come up and had a word with Westgarth a moment ago, and now Bieksa is going to face off against Westgarth, so the defenseman moves up for the Canucks.
Tortorella at the Vancouver bench is already looking at the
and here we
Calgary
go.
bench.
Line brawl to start this game.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Burud. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com and on Twitter at InsideEdgeHOCKE and Facebook at Inside Edge Hockey News. We'll catch you next time.
This has been a production of Inside Edge Hockey News Radio, copyrighted and distributed by the Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.